What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the TheBoysRC channel. Today, guys, we are going to be carrying on with the build. Episode 1 of the build. We are starting fresh. We've got the instruction manual out, the trusty old instruction manual, just to aid us through the build, as I've never built one of these before. One of my first time building any type of RC crawler, especially a 3-speed transmission type. So it can get a little bit tricky. So we've got this to help us out along the way. So first up, we're going to go from the first point of the build. So first up, we've got step 1 of the instruction build. We've got all the parts all ready to go in our parts tray. So this is the crank arm assembly according to the instruction manual, including the ladder frame as well for the chassis, and also the suspension top mounts as well on here. Now, because we are going to be doing the 3D printed servo mod and installing that to the front of the chassis, you can see here we've got this little one here to go for that, with the improved servo mounting location as well, a bit of an angle as well on that one. So we won't actually need the crank arm here for the steering. So the reason why we are doing this mod here is to get better, less slop with the steering, more sharper steering and whatnot, a little bit more responsiveness to the steering, as the basic assembly was absolutely awful. Right then, so let's begin with the build. So this is the left piece of the chassis frame. That is the front, this is the rear. And we've got it on the other side as well. That's the right side, front and rear. You can easily tell this because the back, it's got quite a long section here that's just completely straight, and the front has a bit of a curve to it, and that's how you can tell which side or what position it is. So what I'm going to do is, I've already installed the left side top suspension mount here, and I've already used some thread lock on that, so that is good to go. I'm going to do it the same on the other side here, and then we're going to mount the 3D printed servo slash chassis frame part, and that's going to go into here like so. So I've got my hardware all set up and ready to go. Got my 2 screws and bolts or nuts. I've got my top suspension mount, and that's going to get mounted to these 2 holes here, this one and this one here. So that goes like that. I'm going to add some Loctite as well to this thread lock, just to secure it, because a little bit goes a long way. Just turn this around, because this is a little bit awkward. Pop that in here. Like so. And then I'm going to try to add this nut as well to the back of it. It might be a bit of a challenge. Okay, so that is in. Not secure, because I still need to get the other screw and nut on the other side as well. This is a little bit of a weird angle, so I do apologise. I'm just going to pre-place that there. It was a little bit easier. Okay. These are mounted on. Just going to get that tightened up now. That is a 1 strong upper front suspension mount. So now we're going to mount this 3D printed front servo mount to the chassis. So it's got a little bit of a groove onto it, so you have to just put it in and just slide it in position like so, and that's in there now. So there's no need for thread lock or anything like that because it is just a 3D printed part. It's not metal to metal contact at all. So what I'm going to do is going to put this long one through into here, and I'm going to put another one into here. I'm not going to over tighten this because I don't want to ruin it just yet. So just enough pressure. There we go. And that's locked and secure in place. Okay, so moving on, we're going to add this piece to the chassis frame. I believe this is for the gearbox holder or support. Add that on here. Now, regardless of this piece here, these inlet holes have threads on them, so there's no need for a nut at the end of it or anything like that. Just put some nice little bit of a thread lock on it and that should be absolutely fine. And that gets mounted into these two holes here on the chassis. We'll just get this in like so. Making a right mess out of this. It's just such an awkward chassis to work with. So that's it in, not overly too tight. Bit more thread lock on this one. But yeah, that is in and secure. Brilliant. Let's move on to the next chassis support, which is this piece here. So that's the motor support, that is the transmission support. So the orientation of that is these great big holes go facing forwards. So I'm just going to put that into the ladder frame. Line everything up, and she's in. There we go, nice and secure. Moving on to the back. So the back middle pit here is going to be a little bit complicated because if I show you the manual here, so we've got that to mount with the tower for the shocks there as well with nuts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on this one now, then we'll move on to that as a last thing. The flat end going like that. Okay, that's one in. Let's get the next one. Okay, and that's the last one done. Now, moving on to this one here, which is going to be the trickiest part. Pop that through. It seems to be also threaded. So, tighten that one. This is a very fiddly layout, I have to say, very fiddly. So that is in, this side here doesn't need a nut. This one here does need a nut. So get that in all the way. That is nice and tight. That's going to need another one here for this to support as well. But I'm going to flip it up here, and that now exposes the area where we can add the nut to. There we go. Okay, so last two pieces left now to install is to put another little screw here with a bit of thread lock, and also build another screw here with a nut at the end with some thread lock, as that doesn't have any threads to it. And then repeat on the other side, which I'm probably not going to show. I'm going to probably do that off camera because of how fiddly this process and assembly is. So let's get the last two screws in. So add a little bit of thread lock on this one again, and get that in right here. There we go.